I am Sheriff Lee, Sheriff here in Lincoln County. We've got our partners here with the state, local, and federal. Just so you guys know, some of the entities we have that are here that's supporting this effort and this investigation is the FBI, ATF, NDI, the Fire Marshal's Office, the State Division of Emergency Management, the Red Cross, Clark County Division of Emergency Management, Nevada Sebring Task Force, Las Vegas Metro. Also, our federal congressional delegation partners have been notified of this, and we've been kept aware of this, along with our state officials. I did have a teleconference early this morning with the governor. He's been aware of it and has offered basically anything that the state can offer the support for Lincoln County. Just to kind of give you guys a real quick down and dirty, and understand, you might have some questions at the end, but understand this is an active investigation, and there'll be very few questions that I will be able to answer for you, okay? But I'll just give you a real quick down and dirty what happened. So yesterday evening at approximately 8 o'clock, the two large explosions were reported to the sheriff's office, the 911. At about 8 o'clock, EMS, fire, and law enforcement were dispatched to the scene. Upon arrival, we found a home that was pretty much decimated. We had a vehicle fire. We had live power lines down. As we dealt with all that stuff, we located a fatality. And at this time, we have not identified that person as of yet, and I will not be identifying that until later time, until we are able to identify this person to Clark County Coroner's Office and notify next of kin. As the investigation continued last night, we were able to determine that the explosions were caused by two bombs, one located in the residence and one that was in a vehicle in front of the residence. We think that the decedent is probably our suspect, but like I say, as of this time, we have not been able to identify him as of yet. I think, so as far as today, where we're at right now, that was last night. Officers held the scene last night. Fire Marshal's Office arrived, and now our state, local, and federal partners all together are conducting the investigation as far as locating bomb fragments, assessing the damage to the residences that are surrounding it. We were lucky we did not have to treat any injuries. One was very minor, treated on scene, and nothing further, which is pretty amazing, knowing the devastation around, directly around the blast site. The homes around all sustained major damage, doors, windows, sheetrock, that type of thing, even broken water lines under the ground, those type of things. Some outlying areas beyond the blast site were out of power for a short period of time. My understanding is that has been restored as of now, but we still have a lot of people that are out of their homes and displaced while the investigation is ongoing. So it is an ongoing investigation, and this is going to take some time. This is going to be very, very time consuming, and we expect to be here for a while. So, Jim, you have anything else that you can think of?
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Wright. Last name is spelling W-R-I-G-H-T. I'm the director of the Department of Public Safety for Nevada. And last night, worked very closely with the sheriff. Once the incident occurred, we were tasked with assisting Lincoln County with our State Fire Marshal Division investigators, and with my authority that I have from the governor to deploy additional public safety resources from the Highway Patrol, Nevada Division of Investigations, and our emergency management functions that we supported Lincoln County here. As the sheriff said, this is going to be a long, tedious investigation, so bear with us. It takes time for something like this to put the pieces together to find out what exactly happened and why. So the sheriff's right on this, is that we still have a lot of pieces, both from the explosion side and also from the victim or the suspect side for identification and making notification the next it can. So it takes time, so please bear with us.
Something really important that we'd like the public to know is we have a debris radius that's up to a mile. We've got debris on roofs, in roofs, in houses. It's important for the public not to pick that debris up, leave it where it's at, contact the sheriff's office, either as you see us on the street or call, and we will come by there, we'll mark that, and we will collect that. We're hoping that we'll be able to, for the most part, reassemble. We won't, but our federal partners will reassemble this and be able to determine what the explosive was. Because at this point in time, all we do is have an idea what we think it may have been, but there's debris scattered all over, and we're in the process of picking that debris up now so that we can kind of put that back together. Also, we have grief counselors that are en route to us through other agencies, also through the Red Cross. They'll be here to assist. For those that have non-emergency questions or grief counseling related questions, we do have a state hotline that is 211 that citizens can call and maybe have some questions answered or be directed to where those questions can be answered, or for grief counseling, that type of thing. So state hotline 211, we prefer that if you can call that. We understand if you feel it's a law enforcement issue, then go ahead and call the sheriff's office, but understand the sheriff's office dispatch center is small. We're a small agency, and we are overwhelmed in a real hurry. So understand that as this is going on, we have our day-to-day operations that's going on and everything else that happens. So be mindful if the citizens that are calling the sheriff's office, make sure that it's important that what you're calling for, if it's something that's non-related, non-law enforcement related or whatever, a question, call 211, please. I will take a few questions, but understand, I'm going to tell you one more time, understand we are so preliminarily into this investigation. You guys probably won't be happy with my answers, but there'll only be a few that we can answer. So go ahead.
Sheriff, we had spoken earlier. You live just down the street from where this happened. What was your experience last night?
Yeah, I live about a block and a half away from the blast. I happened to be outside my house when the larger of the two blasts occurred, and I didn't know what. I didn't know whether it was some kind of a huge sonic boom. We have military planes here, and we get sonic boom, but it would have been the biggest sonic boom I'd ever heard. But anyway, it literally took my breath away. The concussion. I looked up and could see the fireball. I grabbed the keys to my patrol unit to respond, and shortly thereafter, a second blast hit. Not knowing, this is not something that occurs. I don't think it's something that occurs anywhere really. I'm not just Lincoln County, but Las Vegas or whatever. I mean, it's a devastating explosion. It's something that I keep thinking to myself, something that I would see on TV in Afghanistan or Iraq. I mean, really, it's that big. It's not some little homemade pipe bomb that somebody blew up a mailbox. It's devastating. So,
is there any reason to believe there's any more explosives out there that you just haven't found?
That's a really, really good question, and the answer to that is we are in the process of that right now. The Sebring team, we've got the robots here. They're going into the area to make sure there are no more explosives. And so as of right now, I can't tell you there are no more, but that is actively going on as we speak right now.
Sheriff, do you have any
How
reason
will
to
the
suspect?
evacuation orders be in place?
I'm going to say probably through today, maybe even into tomorrow. I don't know. I don't have that, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
Two separate explosions, you said?
Two separate explosions.
What was the space between them?
Matter of seconds.
Okay.
Larger explosion was the first. Seconds later, followed by a smaller explosion, but still very substantial explosion.
More than just.
Sure.
But more than just a little, yes.
Sheriff, do you have any reason to suspect this is domestic terrorism versus something else?
No, we have no reason to suspect that. We have an idea who we think the suspect is, although, like I said, I'm not going to release that. We're looking into the background of this subject, and first we've got to make sure we have the identification made, notifications, and we're more than happy to release that. And I think that in that time, we will be able to look into the background of this gentleman and find out, what brought this on and what his experience is. But right now, we don't believe that, no.
Any way to estimate how many people have been evacuated?
Chase, you know on that, would you say 30?
Yeah.
Probably around 30. Some were evacuated initially that are right around the blast the site. And then, of course, since that time, the bomb folks have asked to make a little bit bigger perimeter while they do the checking. So I'm just guessing probably upwards of 30, somewhere in that area.
What's the connection with the suspect to the house where the bomb was found in?
You know what? I think I'll wait on that. We believe there's a connection, but I think I'll wait on that as the investigation, furthers, and we can make sure we identify this person as the person who we think it is.
Are you able to tell us if there was anyone else inside the home when this happened? I walked in 45 seconds late, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, our information, we believe that the home was vacated. There were people in the home, but before the explosion, the people were able to get out of the home and were able to leave without being hurt.
Can you talk, you said it was was the bigger explosion in the car or inside the house?
It's really hard to say. My feeling, or my thoughts were it was the car first, because it was the bigger explosion, but we don't know that. We'll find that out.
Can you talk any more about the devices, how you would make a device like this, what kind of training it would take to make a device like this? You said it was huge and devastating.
Yeah. I would be speculating on that, and I don't want to speculate at this point in time. Although it wasn't an amateur. I can just tell you that. This was not an amateur.
Were there any kids in the house that had to get out? And how many people were in the house before the bomb went off?
So my understanding is there was the wife and 2 children that were in the house that were able to escape without injury. So, any other questions?
Sure.
Yes.
You said you're a small department for an out-of-towner like me. Can you just give me background about your department?
So we have about 10 or 11 patrol officers for the entire county, about 11,000 square miles. We have a small population, but we're spread out over a large area. So our resources are pretty thin. That's when we call on our state, local partners. Highway Patrol was one of the other first on scene to help us hold the scene. Fire Marshal's office, that's why we quickly are overwhelmed because of the small dispatch center and our small resources. So it's quickly, we are overwhelmed.
It's very preliminary, if you can answer this. Do you believe the intentions were to damage property or to hurt other people that were there?
I think for right now, I have an idea, but I think for right now, that'd be speculation on my behalf. But I think as time goes on, we'll be able to answer that question, just maybe not today. Yes?
Sheriff, can you say at all if you've had conversations with the community and what they're saying? Like, how are they feeling about all of this?
I'll be right honest with you, I've had very little time because we have been so overwhelmed. I've had very little time to actually stop and talk to many people from the public. I think as time goes on, I will be able to, but, let's be right honest. This isn't something that happens in anywhere, let alone Lincoln County. And we pride ourselves on our country, quiet atmosphere up here. And this is pretty devastating for the community. It definitely, something that is definitely out of the ordinary for us.
Do you believe the person who passed away has local relatives?
I don't know that question. I don't know the answer to that question.
And Sheriff, you mentioned a lot of damaged infrastructure, you're talking about power lines and water lines and stuff like that. Is there any sort of estimate about how long it's going to take to get all of that stuff back to normal?
I don't think it'll be very long. It wasn't huge. The power, I think, has actually already been restored to those individuals that were out. So I think that's been restored. I think there was only one house that was affected by the water line breakage. So I don't think that will be a big deal. I think it'll be fairly quickly, but right now the power company can't get in there, the water company can't get in there. No one's going to be allowed to get in there until that's safe for them to go. So, yeah, I don't think it'll take long to repair, but it's going to take some time for them to get in there because of our investigation.
So is the area currently closed to look for potential other explosives, or are there other explosives that they will have to detonate at this time?
Right now, they're just looking for anything else. Yeah. And it is closed. It is closed this time, looking for any other devices.
You said possibly up until tomorrow or later?
Hopefully we will be able to accomplish that today. we're hoping that that happens today.
In the seconds after the explosion, can you talk about the atmosphere? Were people trying to go into the home to save people?
Yeah, you know, as I said, you know, we're a small rural community. People help each other, neighbor helping neighbor. And when I got on the scene, there was a lot of people that either walked or driven there because of the explosion. I don't think they'd actually gone into the home. The only people that gone into the home was the fire department, did a quick search for victims in the residence, and then immediately pulled back out because of the structure's unsafe. So they didn't spend a lot of time in there, but we did want to make sure that there were no other victims or possible survivors that were in there, and they were not. So, yeah, there was a lot of people there. A lot of people we had to have leave because when it went from just I don't want to say simple explosion, but went from explosion to a bomb, it changed a lot for us. And it changed the whole thought process that was going on. So then we had to move people back out. People that wanted to help, we had to move back. So we had fire departments responding from Pioche and Caliente. We had our fire department. We had EMS responding from the different communities. So we had a pretty big local response here. Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol that responded here just initially to the fire.
You said it was a 1 mile debris field. Can you talk more about like power of the explosion? I mean, how much was destroyed, and could it have killed other people who were walking by?
You know, I can't speak about the device because that's just not my specialty. I can just tell you that there was large pieces of debris up to a mile radius stuck in roof, actually puncturing the sides of homes, puncturing roofs, sitting on roofs. So it was substantial. It was very substantial. And then what was the other part of your question was? Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, I can't remember what the other, but yes.
Sheriff, on that, again, Jim Wright with the Nevada Department of Public Safety. Our investigators also wanted us to pass along to the community that, as the sheriff said, the debris field is up to a mile, and all day, folks have been bringing debris to us and shrapnel. And we want to get the word out to the community. If you find this material in your properties, leave it alone. Call the sheriff's department. We're logging that, and investigators will come and retrieve that. These pieces of evidence are very important. It's like putting a puzzle back together. So each piece has a vital play in this puzzle that they're trying to recreate. So again, if local citizens find debris, shrapnel on their property, please contact the sheriff's department.
That's correct. Thank you. Yes.
There are a number of people who have friends in this community that are in Vegas and also up in Ely where we're from. Do you have a message particularly you'd want to relate to them regarding this incident?
You know, I guess that it's still a safe place to be. My feel is the threat, barring any other devices are located, I think the threat is over. My feeling is safe. I mean, it's a safe community. You know, this is something that is out of the ordinary for us. And if you have relatives, and maybe they're not answering, whatever, I hesitate to call the sheriff's office, but call a neighbor. You know, if you can't contact family members, contact a neighbor. So you're kind of going through them rather than inundating the 911 center, which, like I said, is small. You get inundated in a hurry. So that's really all I would think. That I could say, yeah, there is a lot of connection between the communities for sure. Okay, anybody have anything else?
Will there be any more like updates or press conferences?
You know, yeah, we'd like to try to give another update. I don't know what that update will entail because we don't know. I'm hoping that we will be able to give a clear, you know, if we don't find anything, that would probably be the next update we would have. And that could be in a matter of hours, it could be in a matter of minutes, we just don't know. So I'm gonna say if we do have an update, it's gonna be a matter of hours from now. But we will try to keep you updated as much as possible, but I don't think that there will be lots to update. Today, yeah. But as the time goes on, I think we'll have a lot to update. I think as we identify the suspect, we identify the device, I think, you know, his background, we're gonna have a lot more to release. But right now, this is where we stand.
I'm sorry, was the suspect inside the car? Or was the suspect inside the
Well,
house?
he wasn't inside the car once we got there. You know, we don't know. We just don't know. Yeah, The suspect is out of the vehicle and out of the residence when we got there. But we can't determine whether he was in the residence or in the car. We just don't know.
Where was it in the, like at the doorway of the residence, the explosion occurred? Was it deep in the house?
So, like I said, there's one explosion that was in the home, which was towards the rear of the home. And the car, which I think was the bigger explosion, was at the front of the home, kind of, I guess as you're facing the home on the left side of the home, but close to the front door. Yes.
And it's okay if you can't answer this, but the people who were inside, can you tell us at all, like, how the man was able to get the bomb inside the home? How quickly this happened from the people inside, what they told you?
Yeah. Yeah, I really can't. I can't answer that. I can tell you it happened rapidly. It was something that happened quick. It was a matter of minutes that this transpired, so it was quick.
But nobody was held hostage?
No.
Do you think this was a vehicle-borne explosive, or do you think it was placed on the vehicle or near it?
You know, I don't have that information. I think we're good. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming. And if we have an update, we'd love to share that with you. We just don't know when that will be. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.